of the iceberg.
I'll tell you what, I wear this because I bet a lot. It really is demoralizing to think that you got to be 55% right in essentially a coin toss, which is almost impossible, just to break even. And then when they're playing shenanigans behind, you got to do it for fun.
You need reparations.
Got it. Got to go. Steve, love you, brother. See you Monday. All right, quickly, folks. Packed show for you. Packed show. Dow, great day. 480 up on the Dow. Nasdaq, 260. Big move up in Nasdaq. S&P did very well.
I'm going to be circulating.
And oil, gold down a bit. Oil down a bit as well. Crypto couldn't get out of its own way again. You see, you have a 500-point move up in the Dow. You would at least think, and this is all based on inflation number came out this morning. Tame, 3%. They're expecting higher. Market rallies. That should rally gold and Bitcoin. Bitcoin really couldn't participate. Big rate decision on October 28th and 29th of next week on inflation. I think you're going to see lower interest rates. That's good for Trump, good for tariffs, good for everything. Next guest, former congressman, a Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, the CEO of Trump Media and Technology Group, and the chairman of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board. Also, I will add, good friend of mine. Happy to have Devin Nunes back here in studio. Thank you for joining us.
You know, this is actually I think this is my first time ever in studio with you.
That first,
because I used to go on your
like back in the Fox days or news.
Even Fox days, because when you first started on Fox, it was at the early days of Fox business.
Yeah. Oh,
and remember you had that show in the afternoon, and that's when I would go on that show.
Happy hour.
And it was always I was always via satellite.
Right.
So it's good, but look, I love the studio.
Thank you for doing it.
I love everything you guys are doing here at Real America's
Voice is legit, amazing. Man. This is a beautiful studio. We're killing it here. Can we talk a little the shutdown and, being a former congressman, you see what the left is doing. They're trying to blame Trump. The reality is Trump doesn't want to spend $1 trillion allowing illegals to get. What are your thoughts as former congressman?
It's just a whole stupid process that's occurring here, that if there was a normal media in this country, the Democrats couldn't sustain this. So I was there back in, I think it was 2013, when we had the Ted Cruz-led shutdown. And if you remember at that time, Senator Cruz's position was, we're not going to open the government till we get rid of Obamacare. And there were many people who said, wait a second, Obama's president, like, you don't have the votes, you need 60 votes in the Senate. How is this ever going to work? Senator Cruz got excruciated, just crucified by the press, by the fake news. Many of us, and myself at the time, said, look, this is not, they're going to make it really painful. Obama's going to make it really painful for many of us if the government is shut down. Ultimately, I think that lasted about 2 weeks. Well, we're already past that here. And this is going on and on. The Republicans passed a clean, what's called a continuing resolution. Okay, Eric, but more than that, this is a clean continuing resolution based on Biden or Obama's third-term budget.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah,
I mean, it's there. So why would they not just pass a clean one? It makes no sense to do this.
Here, Devin, let me ask you, and just the folks know that my issue with all of these has been, look, at the tail end of Trump 45, he had to put $1 trillion into the economy to keep us pumping. COVID was literally shutting the world down, and he did. And it's a temporary COVID spend. But then Biden comes in and doesn't consider that temporary. He makes that the new base. So $4 trillion becomes $5.5 trillion new base. Biden jacks up another $1 trillion in infrastructure, supposedly one time, and helping people through the tail ends of COVID. Temporary spending, which I kind of get, don't love it, but then this temporary spending always continues to create a new base, and now here what we at $7 trillion, $7.5 trillion.
So you're gonna laugh about this, or I'm probably one of the only Republicans that I actually preferred CRs. I used to argue, let's just, because at least the CRs actually freeze spending to last year's number. Okay. And because what you're saying is, well, can't you cut? Well, my whole career, my whole whole lifetime, they've never been able to cut. They've never cut. So I remember one year we went 2 years with a continuing resolution.
But they pretend
I said, this is
temporary.
Great.
There's nothing temporary about spending. There's nothing temporary.
That's right. So look, it would be nice if the challenge that you have and I know people get frustrated with this, and this was the same problem that Elon ran into, is you can't just cut or doze your way into balancing the budget. There's only one way, and it's difficult, and that is
line item.
No, you have to take healthcare. Healthcare costs are skyrocketing. The system's totally inefficient, and we're spending. I haven't looked at it. It's been a while since I've been in. It's been 3 years since I left Washington. 3.5 now. I think it's about 20% of GDP in this country is going to healthcare, and yet healthcare, and it's the most in the world, per capita, and the healthcare is getting worse.
Yeah, mandatory spending is brutal. It's out of
and the
control.
challenge is you got 50 states, 50 different. You got Medicaid, you got Medicare, and to get in there and fix the healthcare system is a massive lift. And you have the left who just want to do socialized medicine, which is what they did which is why they're saying we're shutting the government down until we get $1 billion more. And
trillion.
And at the trillion, yeah, trillion more dollars. yeah, sorry. Sorry. And this is going to be the challenge. Ultimately, there's going to have to be the leadership to take on this healthcare crisis and deal with it. But right now, you got President Trump, who's doing more than any president in our lifetime because he's going 7 days a week. He's dealing with Russia, Ukraine, the stuff in Israel, all of these things that he's doing. And yet you now have the Democrats who are shutting down the government because they want even more money put into healthcare. I mean, it's a tough place to be. Ultimately, it's going to have to be. So the only other way, and you know this better than anybody, so you have two choices. You can either fix healthcare, which means you're going to have to, drive efficiencies to it, or you have to grow the economy, and you have to. And last time when we did the Trump tax cuts in 17, 18, the economy, the tax revenue actually went up.
Yeah,
right?
You grow the economy, you bring in more tax revenue, and it pays
taxes
for the overspending at times.
At times. We cut taxes, but the revenue went up.
Dumb question, and I hate tariffs. It's just I'm a free market guy. I hate the idea of government messing with the free markets at all. But if there were going to be a great use of tariff money, maybe keep the government shut down and use the tariff collections. And to be honest with you, it's about the same. Trump says he's got $250 billion coming in a few months. The whole federal payroll on the 1.5 million employees is about $650 billion. You can certainly cover mandatory or the most important spending, military, Social Security, anything that's at the top of the list. You can certainly cover with the tariff income. What about that idea?
Well, look, they can put Band-Aids together, but they're going to have to open the government back up. I mean, this is like I started out with. It's the fake news per usual covering for these guys, doing something that is. I mean, this is utter chaos and stupidity. They, now whether or not they can pass a new budget and do all the things they want to do, I don't know, but they should be passing a clean continuing resolution because anytime you do this, and this is where Trump can actually win on some of this. If they continue to be idiots and keep the government closed down, the president it gets to a certain point. There's a lot of different rules and regulations, but he can start making permanent cuts. So he will make it ultimately painful for him. What he's been trying to do, unlike Obama. Remember when Obama did, when we had that shutdown 10, 12 years ago now that we talked about earlier. So I had some of the national parks were in my backyard in California, Yosemite National Park, Square Kings Canyon, the mall in Washington, D.C., Obama and the left, what they did is they hurt all of these small businesses that were around these national parks because they shut them all down. They just shut them all down, said Republicans won't open it up. And these poor people that were, largely small businesses, hunting, fishing, bait and tackle shops, that sort of thing. He screwed them.
Yeah.
President Trump is actually doing everything he can to pay the troops, keep the parks open, keep everything rolling. So hopefully they just come to their senses and they just open the government back.
Yeah.
That's what should happen.
And I'm on the other side saying keep it shut down. Devin Nunes, always great to have you. Truth Social CEO, he's killing it. This guy you're killing it with the streaming, with Truth Social, with Truth Plus. It's awesome. We're all over it. I love having you.
Yeah, and Real America's Voice has been great. You guys have been so great.
You've been great to the Bolling show as well. Stay here for 1 second. I want to just tell the folks about one thing before we go. The Edge. We've been talking about The Edge quite a bit. We dropped a brand new show. There it is. This guy he broke his back as a college football player at Auburn, became a personal trainer. He owns 8 gyms in Miami area right now, just opening up in Nashville too. He talks about what it means to get back up, and that's exactly what The Edge is about. Next full screen very quickly, folks. I am thanking you for your subscription. Hit it right there. Just show a camera to that QR code. You hit the yellow line, or do this. Go to youtube.com/@Eric Bolling. The Edge, youtube.com/Eric Bolling. The Edge, we are crushing. We're growing 100 times faster than any new YouTube show. 100 times faster because of you. I thank you for your subscription. I thank you, Devin, for being in studio with us. As many as 19 million Americans take fish oil supplements every day. We're told that fish oil supplements are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and those omega-3s help with heart health and joint health, but these claims are now being challenged by medical studies. My next guest, Dr. Chad Walden, is an expert in the field of physical therapy, nutrition, and nutraceuticals, and is the co-founder of Native Path, a health and wellness company focused on supplements backed by science. Welcome, Doctor. Doc, last time we spoke about krill oil being known for its powerful anti-inflammatory properties. Please explain how reducing inflammation supports overall health and specifically cellular health.
Hey, Eric, good to be back. Yes, this is an important topic. Inflammation is really at the root issue of so many of what we're challenged with health-wise, from autoimmune diseases to rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, cardiovascular disease such as heart disease, metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, gastrointestinal disorders like Crohn's disease, even neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, right? We tend to think of all these things as separate issues, but underneath them is inflammation. So this is really important because when we fix inflammation issues, we start fixing a lot of our health issues, and we as a society are really inflamed, right? We're inflamed because of the way we eat, because of so much sugar, because of so many toxic industrial fats. And one of the things that's really gotten us in trouble is when we are inflamed, when we're having these type of symptoms, we tend to go to NSAIDs and over-the-counter medications, which have a long list of side effects that keep us in an inflamed state. So we need to keep in mind that omega-3s are extremely helpful for fixing inflammation because it can cool it off. And krill oil is really one of the best things that we can do for omega-3s.
Interesting. And some people are saying, well, fish oil, krill, they both come from the sea. And I think last time we spoke about this really, really important distinction here is that the krill doesn't take in a lot of toxins that you find floating around in our oceans and waters, right?
Right. At Native Path, we value purity. And one of the things we looked at was, where does fish oil come from? And it comes from oceans, which there's mercury, there's microplastics, all kinds of pollutants in those waters, right? And krill is a crustacean like shrimp. It's from the Antarctic, that's pure. It's untouched by any of these pollutants and chemicals. And it's a much more bioavailable and effective form of omega-3. So we consider it a superior source of omega-3s compared to fish oil.
Great. Beyond inflammation, krill oil seems to offer a wide range of other benefits, brain and heart health to skin and joints. Joints specifically, years of sports, I'm a mess. My joints are a mess. Am I to understand that this could help?
Yeah, it helps a lot with joint pain, but joint pain, anything with swelling and inflammation, that's where you're going to find it, right? And for me, one of the biggest threats in our culture is heart health. Heart health is the #1 cause of mortality in our modern world. What's interesting is the first recorded heart attack was in 1912. Now it affects over 30% of all mortalities, right? Obesity's gone up, diabetes has gone up. But for me, the heart health benefits of krill are really encouraging. Studies show that it can help lower triglycerides and LDL cholesterol, that's the bad kind, while boosting HDL cholesterol, that's the good kind. And it's also been shown to improve blood flow, really for well-rounded heart health support.
Terrific. For those just hearing about the benefits of krill oil, how can they order?
Well, we're going to extend a discount up to 66% to our audience today when they visit nativepathkrilloil.com. It's a special offer for bundle deals at a fraction of the retail price.
Wow, that's fantastic. Really great news, Doctor. I'm definitely going to try it out as I do all the products that we talk about here on RAV on the Bolling Show. Appreciate your time, Dr. Chad Walden, Native Path Health and Wellness Guru. Let's call it that. Thank you, Doc.
Awesome. Thank you.
See you next time. All right, we will be right back. 2.5 minutes.